Hey guys, Buster here. When I say the words Sonic's mobile games, what do you think of? Now, if I had to guess, you're probably thinking of the Christian Whitehead ports of Sonic 1 and 2 for mobile, or you're possibly thinking of Sonic vs. Speed Battle or Sonic Dash. However, believe it or not, the first Sonic mobile games weren't on your iPhone. In fact, the iPhone didn't even exist when these were made. I introduce you to the Sonic Cafe service. Now, what is the Sonic Cafe, I hear you say? And no, it's not that speed cafe that recently opened in East Village. Also, how did I only find out about this? And how did I get there? The Sonic Cafe was a mobile service that was active from the 26th of January 2001 all the way to the 1st of December 2007. How it works is that you pay 315 yen a month, with that roughly being $2 US, and you would get access to Sega's large variety of mobile games, with around 37 games. However, there were some caveats. Firstly, the service was only available in Japan. A select few of those games came to North America and Europe, but those were few and far between. And those said games that didn't make it were put under the Sega mobile service, not the Sonic Cafe service. Secondly, the service was only available on certain phones, mainly ones made by iMode, EzWeb, and Vodafone phones. Editor's note here. Try saying Vodafone phones 10 times quickly. Thirdly, all these games were digital only. Now, why is that bad? Aren't most games nowadays digital? Well, yes. The main issue, however, is the fact that ever since the service shut down in 2007, a good chunk of these games have become lost media. But overall, $2 a month for a bunch of mobile games, I'll take it. Now, let's check out some games that are on the service. Given how many are actually released and how many are lost, I cannot play all these. So, I picked around 4 of them that I thought sounded cool. Firstly, we have a Sonic the Hedgehog 1 port. Now, in my last video, I said this. Now, I cannot find any ROM files for this version online. It very much seems like these games are lost media. And I'm happy to say that I was wrong. Now, I'm not sure if I'm about to say where I got the ROMs from because of the legalities a bit, but I did find ROMs of the Sonic 1 port. Now, this was one of the few games that were actually released in North America and Europe instead of just Japan. This game was actually split into 2 ports, 3 zones each. The first difference I noticed is the audio. The music was reworked similar to the GBA version. And it's still ear bleeding. And the sound effects are nearly non-existent. There are no social stages. You just jump directly into the ring and get the emerald just like that. The spike bug! One issue I could not get past was the controls. Now the controls themselves are fine with you using the pad to move and the 9 button to jump. But rather on the unresponsiveness of them. I found it hard to make jumps in quick patterns. Not sure if this is an issue with the emulator or the game itself though. I also feel like mentioning the resolution changes between the first and second parts. But apart from those issues, I'd honestly say this is a bit better than the GBA port. There was also a version of Sonic 2 for smartphones, but since this video isn't supposed to be about ports, I'm going to skip that one. Next up, we have Sonic Racing Kart. Now, this game was in Spanish, so bear with me here as I try and understand this. But from what I understand, we boot the game and we're given a variety of tracks to pick. We are then given a camera angle option, and we go from there. Oh, I feel like mentioning I'm not pressing any button to accelerate. The only controls this game has is the turn left and right. What you're seeing on the screen is basically it. There are 5 tracks, however, all of them are just paint, bucket, green, grass, and I'll beat all of them in less than 10 minutes. This game feels lazy even for mobile game standards, and I feel like in 2003 you could do better than this. There weren't even any sound effects for that cart for sake. So overall, this game is probably the worst out of everything we will check out today. Speaking of which... Next up, we have Sonic Jump. No, not the one currently available on iOS. I mean the original. What else do you think we've been talking about the last few minutes? I also feel like mentioning that Doodle Jump was released after Sonic Jump. Unlike the others, this game actually has a story. The story is that Sonic gets a call from Tails early in the morning, saying that Eggman has kidnapped him. I also feel like mentioning you get to read the story 2 words of dialogue at a time. The gameplay itself is, well, your average Doodle Jump game. Both of it mixes Sonic's mechanics. Don't land on the weak platforms, stick to the strong ones, and collect rings to avoid dying. Also, don't fall off. It's nothing special, however I had a decent amount of fun. I can imagine if I had a phone like this in 2004, I would not mind playing this. Lastly, we have Shadow Shoot. The name sounds really plain, which means this can't be good, right? Well, we get into the game and it starts with Shadow randomly exploding, and Eggman steals the emerald he was holding. The game itself plays kind of like an endless runner. You collect rings and have to avoid the bombs. Though there are dash panels that allow you to go through the bombs and multiply your score. At the end of each level, there is a boss fight. Oh, yeah, did I mention Shadow has a gun? I'll be honest, I could not get past the first level because these fights are way too difficult on this. But compared to most Sonic mobile games I've played for this video, it's alright. And that's all I have for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Join the Game Jolt community, Buster's Hangout, and I'll see you guys next time.